As we mentioned earlier, Ford is facing new fallout over multiple recalls. U.S. safety regulators have announced 2 investigations just days after fining the automaker $165 million.
They are now looking into those claims that Ford recalls have not worked because they've not covered enough vehicles. Ford says it is cooperating with both investigations. Joining us now to discuss the latest in these developments is the editor of Headlight.News, Paul Eisenstein. Paul, always glad to have you here.
Great to be here.
So what do you make of these latest developments and everything that we're hearing about this?
All right, we should put in perspective that recalls in general have gone up over the last decade. The NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, has cracked down after some real embarrassing problems, fatal problems, earlier in the new millennium, if you will. But Ford's problems have seemingly accelerated. Before I came in, I was running down a list of all the Ford recalls so far this year. F-150s, Lightnings, the Edge, all sorts of Lincoln products, and so on. And it does seem to be that this company's having some real problems. And it's not surprising, considering that they've been having quality issues in general. You reported not long ago about Ford's earnings, and you may recall one of the reasons they didn't look very good for the third quarter was because of all the quality problems they have. When you have quality problems, not everything's going to be caught at the factory. And in some cases, you're going to wind up with big recalls, and that's what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Now, the government is, launching 2 new investigations. Depending on what they find, could Ford be facing even more fines?
They could be. It really depends on how Ford has handled things. The recall we saw last Friday was a near record, second largest fine ever levied by NHTSA, because the government felt that not only was it a big recall, it wasn't by any means the biggest we've seen this year, but they felt that Ford took too much time to order the recall, really didn't do a good job of seeing how broad it was, so they had 2 subsequent recalls for the same problem, and they didn't notify federal regulators. They didn't keep them in the loop, all violations of the safety acts that they're supposed to follow. These 2 new ones sound like they're going to come out pretty much the same way, that the feds may be very worried. They didn't do the repairs. They didn't fix everything properly. There are reports now that people are complaining that even after having fixes, they're having the same problem. And that's embarrassing. Not only embarrassing, it could be very costly.
Yeah, definitely not a good look. We know that any company is going to have recalls from time to time, possibly. Things can happen. But just getting to the root of it, do you think that they're just moving too fast or not paying enough attention or just trying to get these vehicles shipped out too fast?
If I had the answer, Jim Farley would be offering me several $1 million to work for Ford. The reality is Ford has had, remember when they used to be quality is job one? I hate to say it, quality has not been job one for a number of years. And it has probably been the toughest thing that Jim Farley has faced since becoming CEO, getting quality under control. And quality isn't just, maybe the seats aren't stitched properly or there's some little defect in paint. In some cases, these are potentially serious, even fatal problems that they are missing when they come off the assembly line. Jim Farley has to fix that. And I can tell you that the board is leaning very hard on him to get quality in general fixed. And that includes getting recall costs down and getting just warranty repair costs that don't result in recalls down. Jim has to fix that if he wants to be a successful CEO. In fact, if he wants to be CEO in general.
CEO at all. Now, some people who said they had experienced car problems and reported it said they weren't part of any recall.
Yeah, and some people have also said that they had the problem even after the supposed fix. In one case, for example, they thought it was a degradation of a battery that was causing a 12-volt battery, not an electric vehicle. That was supposedly the problem that was causing, I think it was, 700,000 or so vehicles to potentially stall out, lose power. But now NHTSA is receiving calls from people saying, I went through the recall repair and my car stalled out or lost power again. That's a problem.
Yeah.
You want recalls fixed first time, every time.
That's right.
You got to stay on top of that just to protect the brand. Paul, as always, we thank you so much for your time in helping us uncover some of this. Hopefully we can see a positive change.